Hi and welcome to today's tutorial. Today I'll be showing you how to make this miniature rainbow, so a rainbow keychain. So it's quite cute, it's in theme with the rainbow theme at the moment. Measurement wise, this one measures 7 centimeters across, which is also 3 inches across. So what you will need is your selected yarn. I'm just using a standard acrylic DK, a crochet hook. I'm using today a 3mm. You can use any size hook, so you can use smaller or larger. Of course it will change the size of your work. If you are going to make it as a keychain, you'll need your keychain fastener, a stitch marker, a darning needle and a pair of scissors. If you've subscribed to my channel, thank you very much. If you've not subscribed, you can do so by clicking the link, the subscription box down below. And if you tick on the bell at the side of it and click all, that just means you'll be notified every time I upload. And of course it is all free to subscribe. So let's get started. So to start with, basically it's a circle folded in half and then stitched together. So you're going to start with the colour that you want in the centre. So I'm going to use the lilac for that. And we'll start by making a magic circle or an adjustable loop, whatever you want to call it. So if you get your yarn like that and then cross it over your fingers there, and then what you want to do is pop your hook under the first piece and pull it. Oh, sorry, I caught onto the I split the thread there. Then get your hook under there and pull it through, and then you just want to grab that yarn and pull it through like so. So that just secures it. If you really struggle to do a magic circle, you can chain 4 and slip stitch to the very first stitch and work in there. So for this tutorial we are only going to use 1 stitch, and it's the double crochet in UK terminology, which is the single crochet in the US. So to start with, we're just going to make 8 double crochets, single in the US, into this loop. So insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. So once you've completed that, just pull on the tail to close that up. So that's the first part finished. So we're now going to change colour. So just snip off that colour and get your next piece. And we're simply going to thread it through like that. I always just tie a knot in those 2 tails just to secure it. Because we're going to fold this in half, you don't really need to tie any ends in at all. If you did want to work round them, you can do, but they all will be folded quite securely inside the work before you stitch it up. So if you are going to mark your work either with a stitch mark or a bobby pin or another colour piece of yarn, you want to mark the back of the very last stitch. Because we're changing colour every round, it's quite easy not to, to do without marking your work, but if you are going to, that's where we'll do it. So for this next round, we're going to increase in each stitch. So that means we'll put 2 double crochets, single in the US, into each stitch all around. So we will have a total of 16 stitches. So also it's quite clear where the first stitch is, but if you ever get mixed up, count backwards round. So we're going to put 1 and then back into the same stitch to put 2, and then 2 into the next one, 1 and 2, 2 into the next one, and we're just going to do that all around. So you'll have 16 stitches in total, and your last 2 stitches will be on the marked piece of work. So if you'd like to pause the video, complete that, and I'll meet you here. So that's the end of round 2. We're now on to round 3. So for this next round, we're going to do 1 double crochet into the next stitch. I've changed colour, by the way, here and marked my work. So 1 double crochet into the very next stitch, and then the next is going to be an increase, so we'll put 2 into the next stitch. So that's 1 and 2, and then in the next stitch we'll put 1 again, so that's 1, and then in the next stitch it's our increase, so 2, 1 and 2, and basically we're just going to repeat that all the way around. So 1 double crochet, then your increase, so that's 2, 1, 2, 1 and your increase, 1 and your increase, all the way around until you get to the end, and your very last stitch, the marked one, that will be your very last increase, and that's the end of that round. So if you'd like to pause the video and complete that, and I'll meet you back for round 4. Just a note as well, on round 3 here you should have 24 stitches in total. So this is how your work should be looking so far, and we're now on to round 4. So onto this round we're going to do 1 double crochet into the next stitch, 1 double crochet into the next stitch, and then an increase, so that's 2 into the next one, and then we're going to repeat that all the way around. So 1 double crochet into the next stitch, 1 double crochet into the next stitch, and then 2 for our increase into the next one, so that's 1 and 2. So basically each round we're increasing by a number of 8 stitches, which is what we started at the beginning. So at the end of this round you'll have 32 stitches. So if you'd like to go ahead and complete that, so it's 1, 1, your increase, 1, 1, your increase, all the way around, and your very last stitch will be the increase. So if you'd like to complete that, and I'll meet you back here. Right, okay, so that's the end of that round. So we're now on to round 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, round 5. So I've changed colour. So on this next round we're going to do 1 double crochet into the next stitch. Oh, I'm not focusing there, sorry about that. 1 into the next, 1 into the next, and now we're increase in the next one, so that's 2, 1 and 2. So it's 1 double crochet into the next 3 stitches, so 1, 2, 3, then our increase, and repeat that all the way around till you get to the end, and again we'll always land on our increase on the last stitch. So if you'd like to complete that, and I shall meet you back here. Right, so we've just completed that round and I've changed colour, and this is what your work should be looking like. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but by doing it this way, it won't be perfectly round, and the bigger you get, the more noticeable it'll get, but it does look quite like an octagon shape. Now, I do have a tutorial on how to make a perfect circle. That will show up at the very end of this tutorial, or you can just go through the playlist to find it. I've not done it on this one simply because I want to keep this as simple as possible for everybody, but if you do want to go and check that video out, I show you a way in which to do it as a perfect circle. But for the time being, let's get on with round 6. So as you've probably gathered, the next round will be 1 double crochet into the next 4 stitches and then an increase and repeat. So it's 1 into the next stitch, 1 into the next stitch for 2, 1 into the next stitch for 3, 1 into the next stitch for 4, and then our increase, so 1 and 2 into that one. And we're going to repeat that all the way around. So if you'd like to go ahead and do that, and I shall meet you back here. And as always, doing it this way, we will land on an increase for our very last stitch, and there will be 48 stitches in total. So we've now got onto the very last round, and for this round, as you probably already guessed, it will be 1 double crochet single in the US. So 1 double crochet into the next 5 stitches and then our increase. 1 in the next 5 and then our increase. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and then our increase, so 1 and 2, and we're going to repeat that all the way around. 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 2, 1, 2, until we get at the end, and that's our very final round. And then I'll just show you 2 different methods of how to stitch it up, so if you'd like to complete that, and I shall meet you back here. So I've just completed that final round. It was for 56 stitches in total. All I'm going to do now is slip stitch, so pop your hook into the next stitch along, grab the yarn, pull it through and pull it through. So I'm just going to slip stitch like that into the next stitch along. If you can see, you'll have a bit of a join there because we're working in a spiral, so that's where we're going to fold the rainbow in half. All these tails from earlier will just tuck in, you don't need to tie them in, but I am going to snip them off so they're shorter. So there's 2 ways you can stitch this up now. You can either do it by using your crochet hook and slip stitching, or you can do it with a darning needle, and I'll show you both ways. It doesn't really matter which, it's whatever you prefer to do really. So if you're doing it with, well, they're both done the same way in effect. So what we're going to do here now, making sure it's focusing, so the very next stitch along we're going to go into the back loop only, so just the back loop of the stitch, the one furthest away to you, and then on the mirror stitch on the other side, let me see which one it is, right there. So on the mirror stitch on the other side we're going to go into the front loop only, so that's that there. I'll show you again as it comes a bit clearer. The corner bit's always hard, and then we're just going to do a slip stitch, so yarn over, pull it through the 2 loops on your hook and pull it through the final loop. So I'll show you again. So we're going for the back loop of the stitch, so the one closest, furthest away from you on this one, and then on the other side the front loop, yarn over, pull it through for a slip stitch. So that's how you would do it if you're going to do it using your crochet hook. You just do that all around until you get to the end. If you're going to do it by using a darning needle, then just pull up a loop. Obviously, if you were at the beginning, you'd fasten off and then pull up a tail long enough to weave in the ends. So just thread your darning needle, and we're just doing exactly the same actually, but with your needle. I think I prefer doing it with the needle, to be honest with you. If I were doing granny squares, I'd probably do it with the hook. It all depends on the project. So it's exactly the same. You'd go in the back loop of this one and the front loop of this one. So it's the two that meet, and you just stitch like that all the way around. So I've just finished stitching that up now. When I put my hook on, don't know where I've put the other one now actually. When I put my keychain on, I just pick up 2 loops in the centre and hook through there. If you wanted to, you could make an actual loop. So before you tie off your end that you need to tie in, just you could pull it up there. You could either make a loop by tying it back that way, or you could actually connect to a stitch and chain. Whoop. You could make a, you hear that squeaking? You could make a chain, tie it off, and then stitch that last bit in. So it's entirely up to you, whatever you prefer, to be honest with you. Or a loop, and you could attach it there. But that's it completed. So let me know how you get on. I'd love for you to come and join me on my social media, so Facebook and Instagram. You can share photographs that way of your work, ask any questions at all. If you've enjoyed this tutorial, please give me a thumbs up. If you've got any questions, pop them in the comments box below. As I say, if you want to get a perfectly round, then check out the video coming up next. There's lots of information, including a link to that, in the description box as well. So thank you very much, and I'll see you again next